Welcome to this tutorial on configuring an antivirus EPS, endpoint security, policy in HySecure. Learn how to set up host scam policies, device profiles, and ACLs to ensure secure and compliant access for endpoint devices. Before we begin, ensure all necessary prerequisites are in place. These include administrative access to the HySecure Management Console, enabling EPS with a valid license, verifying endpoint compatibility, and installing the admin client. Additionally, confirm security requirements are defined and highlight EPS settings are enabled for antivirus policies. For detailed configurations, refer to the accompanying documentation or on-screen instructions. Begin by logging into the HySecure Management Console using your security officer credentials. Navigate to the Policies, then Endpoint Security Policies section and choose Host Scam Policies to start creating the policy. Click Add to create a new host scam policy. Enter a descriptive name for the policy in the policy name field, which will help identify it later. Optionally, you can add a brief description to clarify its purpose. Select the appropriate policy type from the drop-down menu, such as Antivirus, IP address, or Windows Update, to specify the type of security check this policy will perform. For instance, selecting Antivirus will verify the antivirus status of the endpoint device. Adding subpolicies allows for more granular checks within the main policy. For example, if Antivirus is selected, you can specify the required antivirus products or versions. Once the policy is configured, make sure to link it to a device profile to enforce compliance. Navigate to the Device Profile section under Endpoint Security Policies to create a new profile. Enter a name for the profile in the Profile Name field and provide an optional description for documentation purposes. Choose whether this will be a mandatory profile or a quarantine profile. Mandatory profile enforces strict compliance, requiring all endpoint devices to meet the defined host scam policies before accessing the network. If an endpoint fails to meet the policy, the user will be denied access, and remediation information will be provided. Quarantine profile acts as a fallback for devices that do not meet the criteria of the mandatory or normal profiles. Devices in the quarantine profile are restricted from accessing specific applications, ensuring non-compliant devices are isolated. Set the security level and policies according to your compliance needs. Link the relevant host scam policies to the profile to ensure devices meet the established security standards. Configure the Blocked Applications section to restrict specific applications if necessary. Now that we have created the host scam policy and device profile, the next step is to link them to an access control list. Navigate to the ACL section and select New. Choose Endpoint Security as the access control type. Enter a name and optional description for the access control rule. Select the HySecure domain and authorization server that will be responsible for authenticating the users. Set the assignment type to determine if this ACL applies to specific users, groups, or devices. Choose selected device profiles to apply the ACL only to certain profiles, such as your newly created mandatory or quarantine profiles. For the device profile type, you can select any device profile or selected device profiles. Ensure that Allow Access from Highlight Portal, Browser, and Native Client are configured based on your requirements. Set the priority for the policy, which determines the order in which ACLs are applied. Lower numbers indicate higher priority. Specify an access control valid till date if this policy needs to be temporary, and set the access control state to either enable or disable. Once the configuration is complete, click Submit to save and activate the ACL. To validate the EPS policy configuration, log into HySecure using Test User Credentials and confirm access. Test device profile restrictions to ensure they block or allow devices as configured. Verify ACL functionality to confirm only authorized devices and users gain access. Additionally, check host scam policy enforcement during login by reviewing compliance in reports, logs then, endpoint scan in the management console. Note that without specific endpoint security ACL and device profile priorities, the compliance policy will apply universally to all users. Ensure priorities are set appropriately to target specific groups or scenarios effectively. Congratulations! You have successfully created an EPS policy in HySecure, including host scam policies, device profiles, and ACLs. This setup ensures that endpoint devices meet security requirements before they can access the network. For additional assistance, refer to the documentation portal at docs.accops.com or reach out to our support team.